Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, the Queen Bee, Dani. How are you feeling? As we chat this morning to the devilishly handsome, the fabulously wonderful, the incredibly knowledgeable Mr. Fidel Hill, the modern man. Good morning. Jodie Sol, good morning. Babna Reddy, good morning. Elise Woodbine, good morning. The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon, good morning, sir.
Shut up, for f***'s sake. Jesus.
The fantastic Lizzie Jackson Barrett, good morning. Josephine Sandra, everybody, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Hey, everybody, look, me gigs. Oh, I love him. But look, I can't. It's so distracting. I can't because of my ring light. How are you? Welcome to Monday. Happy Monday. Here we are. It is February the 22nd, you lot. Which means in the UK, we're getting some announcements today, which hopefully, fingers crossed, is going to have us feeling that little bit more settled that we are peeping around the corner from the craziness of the last 12 months. So good morning to you all. You are most welcome to the show, Rise Up Show. If you are new, welcome. I am your host, Dani Wallace. I'm the Queen Bee, which is a very audacious statement. I know, I'm quite aware. But it is much less about me and it is much more about you lot watching out there. And when I say Queen Bee, it doesn't matter how you identify, King Bee, Royal Bee, Sovereign Bee, whatever Bee. But welcome. You are most welcome to the show at Rise Up Show, where we come together every single morning, Monday to Friday at 9:30, where I interview a whole host of phenomenal human beings from lots and lots of different backgrounds, lots and lots of different practices, lots and lots of different opinion spaces to come together in a response to what is sometimes the very fearful and scary media that we are faced with when we turn on our televisions in the morning. So what we strive to do on the show is every day bring you some positivity, motivation, inspiration, information about life and business and such. So we've been running, are you ready, you lot? Almost a year. In 2-3 weeks time we will have been going for a whole year. I think we should have a birthday party. I don't know about you. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you are watching on my personal profile, Dani Wallace, and you want to take part in the conversation this morning, I need you to head over to the Queen Bee Dani page on Facebook, or indeed the IATQB Hive. The IATQB Hive is my free community. Now then, this morning was a big morning for our community. We are in Challenge Week this week. This week, I am running the Move Bee Get Out the Way Challenge. It feels like this week is the week to do it. So we're looking at overcoming self-sabotage, rolling up our sleeves, getting out of our own effing way and getting focused on the rest of this year and stepping into whatever version of success you have. Stop hiding from it. Stop being scared of it. Stop being scared of the world around us and really getting to grips with how do we really step up there. So we've been doing that this morning. If you do want to take part, you absolutely can. If you go to imthequeenbee.co.uk/MoveBee challenge and then make sure you join the IATQB Hive, which is my free community, you can go in there, catch up on the live this morning and then go and take part in the tasks. They're not really difficult tasks or long tasks. They're just tasks to help us get focused for this week in readiness for everything that is to come. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's what's been going on. I have been up bringing the fire this morning. Here is no different. Let's see who is here today. Louisa Herridge, bumper loads of bad. You're getting loads of me today, loads of me, unapologetically so as well. I feel like we need that kind of energy. We need to start getting our sleeves up. We need to start rolling and rocking again. Morning, Susan Hutton. Welcome. Babna Reddy in the house. Hello, my angel. Pixie, hello to you. Diane Ivory, got CSI Ivory in the house. Tabs, and we've got Tabasum on the show tomorrow. Tomorrow is tomorrow, isn't it, Tabs? It's right, isn't it? You're definitely on this week. I just realised that I'm posing in the same way as your profile picture. Look, we look like twins, look. You're much more beautiful than me. Yes to a party. I love it, Louisa. Yes, let's have a party. We are up for a first birthday party. Let's plan one. I'm excited. Let's plan a year of the show at Rise Up Show. It is crackers, isn't it? Always down for a spot of cake. You're talking to the right girl. So yeah, always my response to a party. I love it. I feel like we need it. We need a celebration, don't we? I so need this move. I intend to be awake for this morning. I couldn't even do that. Get back, go and watch the replay, go and get amongst it. Right. Ola Karen Dawkins, who was a part of the challenge this morning. Fantastic. Right, you lot. Let's get going. So let's be very, very clear once again. In order to take part in the Move Be Get Out of the Way challenge, you need to be in the IATQB community and signed up to the iamthequeenbee.co.uk/Move Be challenge. And then we'll leave that thought there because I have a very special guest on this morning. I'm very, very excited. When we talk about self-sabotage, one of the ways in which I self-sabotaged over the years, or one of the reasons that prevented me from creating my own business, was a total and paralyzing fear of books. And I don't mean the kind of books that your girl writes on the regular now. I've got 3 of them. I'm not talking about books as in the books that you read, but I'm talking about financial books. One of the ways that I would self-sabotage was by telling myself that I didn't understand self-employment well enough. And so I would prefer the safety of being employed and just being paid. I didn't have to think about that. And the potential success that would come with self-employment, because I knew I was very talented, I knew that I was very good at selling, I knew I was very good at all these things, was scary. The potential of that success was scary. And one of the ways that I would take that out of my own hands was say I didn't understand it and that I couldn't afford to have someone help me do it, and I didn't know how all the software worked, so I just didn't. And for years and years I didn't work for myself. And can you imagine if I'd have worked for myself and been able to do this before just 3 or 4 years ago? I mean, 8 years ago when I first started working for myself and singing. So what I've done this morning is I've got on for you one of my very, very dear friends who is an accountancy bookkeeping whiz. She's going to talk to us about her top tips for getting all those things in order to make it much less scary, much more accessible. And you know what? She's just a bloody lovely sort as well. She's a bloody lovely sort. Please welcome to the show from Plimbrook. I was going to say from Plimbrook Brooks, but that's not right at all. But she's going to tell me it's Becy Thyer, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now then, I remember, Becky, when you were bullied into being on the show.
I think.
You were lovingly encouraged by your group of loving friends to come and share what it is that you do on the show. And the reason why is because you are absolutely phenomenal at what you do. Tell us a bit more about what you do.
So I run a bookkeeping practice, but it's not the standard bookkeeping practice that you would see, like those big corporate kind of ones. Mm-hmm. I get to know my clients, and that's my main kind of key kind of thing with me is I like to know my clients. I like to know what their issues are,
right?
And help them as much as I can, not just with their bookkeeping. Yeah. I can help them with bookkeeping loads. I can tell them, I can kind of guide them into the right way. I can show them how to do things themselves, or I can just take it off them and do their bookkeeping for them. But it's the other things that come with running a business, especially when you're on your own, that you just don't know. So a while ago, I had a client who rang me up in tears. My emails aren't working. I can't get access to your email. But I've got loads of friends that have whizzes at emails. So I passed them over to them and said, look, we'll get your email sorted for you. Don't sit there on your own thinking you don't know anybody that can help you.
Right. And one of the great things about you, Becky, is that you are a master networker. You network in lots of different places. So when it comes to overall business as well, and it's kind of like me with my black book, when your black book is like thick with people who you know, like, and trust, and you're able to recommend, actually you become more than, I'm going to say in inverted commas, just a bookkeeper. Because for me, having been having somebody be able to look after my books has been an absolute lifesaver. In fact, it's been pivotal to my success, because as a creative, it's not one of the things that we look at. I don't want to concern myself. Because I can't. Like, if we've talked about this on the show before, people tend to fall in a quadrant of personalities. And this is very generic, and you can put different hats on in different situations, but people tend to be results driven, details driven, people driven, or ideas driven. Now, I'm an ideas driven person and a results driven person and a people driven person. I can't be all things, and the details is what I get lost in a lot, and the habits around the details I get lost in a lot, because I'm constantly moving from one thing to the next. So having somebody like yourself in my life, and those people that you know in your clients' lives, is so phenomenally important, because it allows you to build those foundations, isn't it? So that you can plan for big stuff.
And that's what I always say is bookkeeping is one of those things that people put off. However, that's your cement. That's your kind of basic kind of, you have to get your bookkeeping right. Because if you don't get your bookkeeping right, that whole pillar falls down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it can have some really drastic effects.
Flipping heck, if business, you know, the bigger your business gets, if your books are in a tatty mess, then we're not just talking about, you know, not paying enough tax. We're talking about, you know, the law gets involved. It is an important. It doesn't feel sexy when we talk about it on the surface, but actually, what I've found, I don't know if it. I say I don't know. I think you probably do. That the more you know about it, the sexier it gets, because the more freedom it allows you, right?
Definitely. And like Xero is sexy to me. I use accountancy software for Xero, and oh my god, that's amazing. I could talk about Xero and everything that goes around with it, Xero, because to me that's my thing. Yours is going to be about public speaking. Mine is my Xero accountancy software.
Right.
It's so sexy.
And I think the reason why it's sexy, because like our business uses Xero, and I'd be interested to know, if you're watching, what kind of accountancy software do you use, if any? Because I think this is for the smaller entrepreneurial people that are moving from employment into the entrepreneurial space. Accountancy software isn't necessarily something that people think about, or people think that, you know, back in the old school, you'd have a spike sat on the table, you just put your receipts on the spike on the table, and then, or if you're me, with a carrier bag, going to my poor accountant, you know, 2 days before my accounts need to be filed, with my carrier bags of receipts. I'm feeling stressed, she's feeling stressed, and we might not be getting the best out of our accounts because everything's kind of being left. This accountancy software is really fascinating. And our mutual connection, mentor of both of ours, Brad Burton, actually knows Gary Turner, the guy that created Xero. And the way that he talks about the business is absolutely phenomenal. And the way that he talks about Xero and the reason why he created Xero is such an incredible story. Tell us a little bit more about Xero and what it is.
So Xero is the accounting software. So gone are the days where a lot of people used Excel. Excel was the kind of accountancy software available to most small businesses that didn't have the fee or didn't have the amount of money to be able to provide or get that accountancy software. But Xero is very much for the small business. It's very much accessible.
Yeah.
But not only is Xero an accountancy software, it connects with so many different apps. It has a big ecosystem full of apps that are there to help you in your business. Mm-hmm. So you're not spreading yourself thin and entering the same data in 3-4 different times. Right. When you enter your data in one software, it will automatically connect to Xero. And that's what a lot of Xero is about. It's about having that connectivity, having that kind of saving you time so you're not entering your data in several times.
Right. And then it all pulls it into one place. And then when you or your accountant, your bookkeeper are doing things like reconciling and stuff that is far beyond my understanding, but it's actually easy to do because the software is easily readable. It's made for people like us that are watching right now, you know, who may not necessarily have a finance team, who may not necessarily have, you know, a whole team of accountants and what have you that are working for you, that it's one of the overheads that this software actually helps you keep relatively low, right?
Yeah, and that's it. It is built for the business owner. So you have other softwares that are built for the accountant, built for the bookkeeper. Those are the people that have studied for years and years and years and understand the data that's held within those systems.
Right.
And Xero isn't. Xero is very much based on the business owner, those that have got not no knowledge, but have that minimal knowledge of what their accounts are telling them.
Right.
And that's what it is. On your dashboard on the Xero account, you can manipulate it so you can see what your figures are. You know what your gross profit percentages are, and it's there in front of you. So if you're interested in knowing those things, you can make it there.
Right. It's in that knowledge, isn't it, Becky? It's in that knowledge that actually, if I think one of the reasons why IATQB has been so successful isn't just because I'm the key person of influence within the company, but it's because I allow myself now visibility on my accounts, and I have my team, my incredible team, visibility on my accounts so that I can make strategic business decisions. I know what I need to sell in order, and when I need to sell it in order to cover the things that are coming up. I know what we've got going, where, when, why. I can look back and it's easily findable at my fingertips what's been going on in multiple bank accounts in one place. And it's been so phenomenally helpful to be able to use that piece of software. And this you lot is like, we are not sponsored by Xero this morning. But it has been a piece of software, and one of the reasons why I wanted Becky on the show, that has been really pivotal in allowing me the visibility on my business, where it's not, we hide from these things. We hide from the receipts in the drawer. We hide from what even the report comes back from the accountant. Like, what even does that mean? There's just something that we file. Actually, it's data and information that we can make really great business decisions on, based on growth and our scalability, and we can see year on year where we've been, where have the pitfalls been, where have the breakdowns been, where have the successes been, all in one place instead of having to go over here and in this bank account and that bank account and that bank account, right?
That's it. And it's, if you use Xero properly, and a lot of people don't use Xero to its full potential, but especially for small businesses where you're counting every pound, and you need to monitor every pound. If you know you've got £80 going out in this month, you're not going to go and buy a £30 product if you've only got £100 in your bank.
Right.
And
although that's what I used to do because I was an idiot.
But that's the kind of information it shows you. It can show you how much you have available to spend,
right?
How much you can invest in your business, how much you can invest in other aspects. And it's kind of why I love Xero, because you can manipulate it to make it work for you.
Yeah, amazing. We've got some questions, Becky, if that's all right. So Karen's just asking, what other things does it connect to? So what do we mean? Like, could you give us an example of what sort of things Xero connects to?
So Xero can connect to pretty much anything and everything. Your main kind of things that it connects to is your payment system. So if you use Stripe or PayPal or Go Cardless, any way that your clients are going to pay you, it connects to that. It connects to your bank account, so you're not entering your bank detail or your bank statement into Xero. It can automatically pull it through. It can connect to your contacts on your phone. So if you have a query regarding a particular client, you can ring them through Xero.
That's crazy.
I know. It's linking up. It's going through the stages of linking up to HMRC, so you can send your reports across directly from Xero account. You don't have to download it and then upload it to HMRC.
We just find so everything's kind of like, it's almost that touch of a button type situation, instead of, oh, I've got to go into this email and find this thing and that email and find that thing and then that website and find that thing. Actually, all of that it can be taken care of in app, can't it?
Most people use it to connect to their CRM systems.
So for those people that don't know what's a CRM system, because there are some people that don't know these things, and we get lost in our jargon, don't we? It's very easy to. No. It's good. These are the things that we need to talk about.
So it connects to your kind of client management list of your clients' to-dos, your client records, It can connect to your Mailbird or any other email management system that you've got. I have a lot of trades people that use a system called Tradify. And Tradify basically allows them to keep a record of all their clients, helps them with invoicing, helps them with purchases. And that Tradify system fully complies or connects to Xero. So any information either the owner of the building company puts in or even their staff puts in automatically goes into Xero for me. So I don't have to go in and search for purchases, or I don't have to go and search for receipts. It's automatically in their system for me.
And it's something that it's like, I use it as a communication tool as well between my, so I've got Danielle who helps me look after my finances. She like looks at the finances and helps me reconcile everything and all of that sort of stuff. And then I've got my accountant, but they all have degrees of access to that. So my whole finance team are able to see what's going on in the accounts, what's happening from the finance, what's happening from a reports point of view. And then we're able to, all of us have visibility on it instead of them having visibility on it and then me not understanding what's going on, or similarly me having visibility on it and not knowing what to tell them. And that missed kind of communication, it allows everybody that needs to see on your team access to the information so that you can make really great and structural decisions. Louisa Herridge is saying that's exactly what I need. Is it Xero with an X or Xero with a Z?
Xero with an X.
It's a Xero. Kara's just asking, what's your advice for someone starting out, already spent money on courses, etc., and captured in Excel, but how should we do it properly from the outset?
I think it depends on how big you're wanting to go and how fast you're wanting to go. Excel is great for the moment for those that are just starting out, those that aren't hit their £1,000 turnover in a year.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to spend money on something that you don't need just yet.
Right.
I would, once you've got your Excel spreadsheet and then you need to move over to Xero, it's a very easy data transfer across to Xero.
Yeah.
So probably in like your second year, if you haven't grown too big, move across to Xero. Alternatively, you can go from Xero straight away if you've got the funds behind you, if you know that you're going to have a lot of purchases, if you know you're going to have a lot of those transactions. Go to Xero straight away. And the great thing about Xero is it's done in 3 stages. So you've got your start stage where you only have like 5 or 6 kind of sales purchases during the month, and you don't have to reconcile that much in your accounts. And that's it's the cheaper option. I think it's like £12 including VAT. And then you can move on to your business edition, which is what majority of the UK are on. They're on the business edition, where you can do so much more.
Yeah.
And then you've got your higher edition. So I would say
when we're making the mega money.
Yeah, when you're making the mega money. When you're starting out, if you're not going to make that much turnover, keep with Excel. But Excel does easily go into Xero at the point when you need to move it across into Xero.
Yeah, you can merge quite easily. And also, I mean, again, one of the reasons why, Becky, we have you on the show is that you help people do that, don't you? In fact, you've been awarded, well, not yet, but you are a finalist in an award specifically centered around Xero, right?
Yeah, I'm the Sole Practitioner of the Year finalist.
So when you say Sole Practitioner of the Year finalist for Xero, what we need to remember here is that there are millions of people that use Xero, that there are millions of people that are, that are practicing Xero. So to be one of the finalists in helping people with Xero and using Xero as part of your business and, as part of your bookkeeping practice, that is a phenomenal achievement. Can we just give Becky some love this morning? Because tell us a little bit more about the awards. The awards are coming up like pretty imminently, right?
Next Wednesday. It's quite scary.
All right. Well, please do let us know how you get on and we can celebrate you on the show next. Did you say next Wednesday?
Yeah, next Wednesday evening.
So Thursday we'll know. But I mean, even being a finalist, Becky, is just phenomenal, isn't it? Just to get that kind of recognition from the company.
It's taken my breath away. When I found out the results, it was like one of those moments. are you really serious? Did that say my name on it? So when they did the results, and they did a live on LinkedIn on the results, and I screenshotted what it said, and I could see it said Pembroke, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I sent that screenshot to my mate.
Is this spelled correctly? Is this me? Are there any others out there? Like,
well, my mate's useless, bless her. She's like, what am I looking at?
Maybe not the best friend to send it. So out of interest, Becky, what brought you to that work? So I know that you absolutely love it, and of course, and it's understandable why. Where whenever I'm very brand loyal when it comes to software. So as everybody knows, I absolutely adore StreamYard, and it's very difficult to dissuade me otherwise. Same with Xero. Same with Starling Bank, for example. I'm a huge fan and advocate for Starling Bank. So all of the things that I use, I'm very brand loyal towards. What brought you to going from, well, not going from, but you are a bookkeeper and that's kind of your job, but then being so closely affiliated with Xero?
I've tried lots of different softwares. There's Free Agent, there's Sage, there's
QuickBooks, yeah.
There's all sorts of software out there. I found with Xero that it was just easy to use, and the information that's there is unbelievable. So typically with accountants and bookkeepers, they like to store their information. They like to hide their information away. And I found the same with software. You had to pay £500 to do a course to get qualified in using that software and stuff like that.
Right.
And that wasn't me. I'm more of an information giver. I love sharing information. I think the more information that's out there, the better. No matter if it hurts me or my company or whatever, if you know how to do it, then that's better than me doing it for you, kind of thing.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that Xero is. I could easily go on to Xero, and I tried Xero first off, and the information was there. I was certified quite quickly because the information was there. And even now, they're very active on Facebook, they're very active on LinkedIn. A lot of the social medias, they're active, and that's what made me go with Xero, is because they have that same kind of belief as I do, as give that information out.
Yeah, and I think that's again one of the things that draws me to, like I was saying about Gary Turner. And I was lucky to see him speak at Brad's Now What Live a couple of years ago. Fascinating guy, but really super down to earth. And he just had this notion that these things should be accessible. It shouldn't be a secret language for the finance people. It should be the common language so that we can build a strong economy. It should be the common language that and not just necessarily Xero, but the information that is held within our accounts, within our finances, when we take back that control, that phenomenal things can happen. And actually, it's a bit of an FU to the overall finance industry when we allow ourselves in on the conversation. We allow ourselves to take back that control. So it allows us to make, like I say, the whole thing's about ownership and making better decisions. And I just find that ethic and that value set fascinating, and always something that I would want to be aligned with, something that not necessarily takes away, but it's a bit kind of Robin Hoodie for the finance industry, isn't it? It allows that sharing of information, because finances and money and the economy are often, we think as the layperson, that's something for the rich man, that's something for the bankers, that's something for the people who are in the know. And it doesn't, for your money to be managed and managed correctly and be advised accordingly, yes, absolutely, have somebody qualified. But when it comes to owning the information that you have and being able to use and manipulate that information as you need to in order to build your business, scale your business, grow yourselves, then my God, that should be right. That should be the right thing to do. Pixie, now that my role sits in a finance team rather than a credit control department, I don't know what they're waffling on about half the time. It's just full of jargon, isn't it?
And that's it. And I think, like, I've got qualifications in finance and everything up to my eyeballs.
Yeah.
I am still that kind of down to earth. I came from the council estate. I kind of risen myself up with it. And that's why I know that most of the people that I know that are self-employed haven't got that finance knowledge. Right. So if we can give that finance knowledge, even if little bits what they need, not overflow them with
Yeah, some stuff we don't like. I don't want to know. I'm all right.
Some things you don't want to know, but
No, I'm all right.
You need to know in your business. And accountants, bookkeepers, those finance people are normally put on that pedestal, like they're out of reach, they're out of touch.
Yeah.
And they need to be brought back down to earth a little bit, I think.
Yeah, or just reconnecting even, just kind of like, if we're armed as business owners with as much information as we possibly can, we can have better conversations. And I just love that. And I love that that's the space that you come from within your business. So tell us a little bit more about what's coming up for you and the things that you're excited about, Becky.
So obviously we got the Zero Awards.
Zero Awards next week, just a little matter of that.
Yeah, I'm developing the business a little bit more. So it's not just bookkeeping. I'm going to go into payroll and self-assessments, end of year accounting.
Yeah.
I'm still going to be a bookkeeper by name, but I will be able to do a lot of the things that the accountants can do.
Right. What is the difference between, because some people may not know this, what is the difference between an accountant and a bookkeeper?
Typically, an accountant are the people that do all the submissions to HMRC, so your VAT return submissions, your self-assessment submissions, your end-of-year accounts for limited company submissions. You can get the taxation accountants who are able to advise you a bit better on tax. You can get management accountants that are able to advise you on management accountants. And bookkeepers do a lot of the data entry. Bookkeepers put in that base level of information into your accounting system for the accountants to then look at. However, things are slightly changing. So with some certifications for bookkeepers, you are able to do the VAT returns, you are able to do the self-assessments and everything else that general accountants can do.
Yeah.
And you are qualified just as much as an accountant is to do it, but you're still named as a bookkeeper.
Right, I see. So for those of you that are, that are unsure out there, and I think bookkeeping is the minefield that we wade through in the first instance. How does that need to look? So when you say like it's data entry, actually that's quite skilled in that you've got to know where these things go. You've got to know where all your purchases, all your transactions, where do they sit? Where are they most tax efficient? All of that sort of stuff. These are the things that we need to know. And again, that's the murky waters that as a solo business owner, we start to wade through. Well, what does reconciling mean? What does all that sort of stuff mean? And to have, again, like you say, having someone like yourself to hand that has that ability is such a bandwidth creator. For a busy creative and for busy people, if you don't know those things, and like I'm very much of the mind where I don't have time to think about those things anymore, because if I'm thinking about those things, I can't grow anywhere else because I'm too busy thinking about something that I'm really, really shit at, which I don't want to spend my time doing. I would rather someone who loves that bit to be a part of my team than me having to do it. And that sort of stuff would make me feel sad. And isn't it funny, with me and you are sat here, you're like, that's the bit that I love, and you need to find someone like Becky. You need to find Becky who's going to love that bit for you, because if you've got somebody on your team, on your side, who loves that bit, you get to love your bit that little bit more because you don't have to hate something within the structure of your business. So when we are talking about getting somebody in, I went to go and see a really, really dear friend of mine when I first started out working for myself. He's called Des Grant, DJ Des Grant. And Desi, if you ever catch the show, I love you. I didn't know how to be self-employed. I'd been employed forever. Even when I was singing abroad, I was always in employment. And I didn't have a pot to piss in. Things were crackers. And I remember him saying, well, Dani, if you can't do it, GSI. And I was like, what do you mean GSI? Get someone in. And I got frightened because getting someone in meant paying someone. And what I didn't realise is that actually when I started to pay someone and invest in team members, in bookkeepers, in operations managers, in assistants, that I started to be able to generate more money. I started to be able to grow my business in a way that I couldn't recognize it anymore. It was crazy. But at the point when I was like, well, how can I do that? That was a really difficult decision to make. Do you have people that that feel like that are frightened of employing the services of a bookkeeper or an accountant.
Yeah, and it is that kind of catch-22. So there are a lot of people that are scared. They can't guarantee that they've got that money coming in every month to be able to afford that person. But they also can't pay somebody at the end of the year to do all of their bookkeeping for them because they've done it. And normally, if you do it in one big lump, it costs a lot more than it does if you spread it out throughout the year.
Right. Who does it? Like, own up. Who's one of the? I've been that person. I'm so glad. Like I say, I can't thank my team enough for keeping me sharp. But who leaves it all? Who gets to the 22nd of January and starts having a massive panic, and they do it, and it's like half an hour to go. Let me know. Who, like, we see you and we love you. You probably need Becky in your life to help you get yourself sorted out. So Becky, thank you so much for being on the show this morning, because I think that finances and the structure of our finances, we talk about life and business on the show all the time. We do a lot of mindset stuff, and we do a lot of kind of getting your head in the right space, and the practical stuff is, I would argue, more important, because if you don't have that cement, the foundations in place, on what do you grow? It's like the foolish man building his house upon the sand or the rocks. And thank you, Becky, for in your corner of the world being the rocks on which people build their businesses. You are phenomenal. How do we find out more about getting help from you?
You can come find me on my Instagram, on my Facebook, on my Twitter. Everything's at Plymbrook. Email me, info@Plymbrook. Find me anywhere. I'm all over social media.
I love it. So it's just Pembroke, is that right? Or is it
Plymbrook? Yeah,
right, amazing. Pop the link in the comments, and we make sure we share it. But if you are just starting out and you don't have and you feel like you're kind of looking through the fog, please do get in touch with Becky, who I'm absolutely sure will be more than happy to assist you or give you some advice and help you on your journey of either using Xero, if Xero is right for you, and that's something that you help people with. But Becky, I can't thank you enough for being that person that loves doing all of that part of business, so that I can carry on and think a little bit more blue sky thinking. It is that you are the absolute bedrock of so many people's businesses, and you are wonderful, and we love you, Becy Thyer.
Thank you.
I'll see you later. Fantastic. That was the glorious Becy Thyer. Please do go and get in touch with her if this is something that is going to be the next little bit for you. You know, in the Move Be Challenge, in the Hive this week, we're talking very much about getting out of our own way of finances. One of the ways that you're getting in your own way. I spoke about that just this morning. One of the ways I would do myself out of my dream house, I would keep myself where I was, because having the success of having my dream house was absolutely so far outside of my level of comfort or knowledge that I wouldn't look at my finances. I wouldn't look at what was going on in my bank accounts. I would procrastinate around handing my receipts in, or, you know, doing that work. And actually, when we started to lift the lid off of that and get some real clarity, that's when the business began to grow. And that's what happens when you look at your business as a whole instead of just your one area of expertise. The growth of IATQB hasn't been just because I show up on a live every day. It's because we look at all of the aspects of business. So if you think any successful oversubscribed business has 4 key components, this is from a fantastic book called Oversubscribed. Go and check it out. You've got your key person of influence, sales, finance, and operations. They're the 4 things that you need to look at when you're building out your business. And that is why it is such a lovely thing to have Becky on the show this morning, so that we can start to think about those things. You will have people telling you to show up, just show up in your business all the time. But there are going to be areas that you need to wise up. If that's one of the areas, then you need to have somebody like Becky in your life. She is wonderful. Thank you for joining me this morning, you lot, you bloody bunch of belters. What a way to kick Monday off. Making finances all sexy and shit. Well, I'm not being funny, but you start making money, suddenly your finances become very sexy. So let's get ourselves in a position where we start heading out into this year not being ashamed of wanting to create more abundance for ourselves. And I want as many people on this show interviewing, sharing their incredible expertise. If that sounds like you and you've got something that you can help business owners in or help people with their personal development, you are more than welcome to apply to be on the show at Rise Up Show. In order to do that, what you need to do is you need to go to imthequeenbee.co.uk, pop your email address into just at the bottom, apply to be on the show, and we will send you a link to apply. We are looking for a diverse range of people and backgrounds for the show, members of the LGBTQ plus community, members of the Black community, members of the Asian community, whatever background and culture that you come from, please do come through. We need as many of you as possible. Preference will be given to people of colour and members of the LGBTQ community and any marginalised community. We want to give you the platforms, so please do come through, and we will support you and help you share your message and pass the mic to you. Right, you lot, have a bloody lovely day. You are phenomenal and wonderful and glorious human beings. Go and rip it up, and I'll see you here tomorrow at 9:30.